So you look at those two young players, they so far have every major title this year.
Well, we've heard and we've talked about for the last 15, 20 years, Fed, Nadal, Djokovic, they have been really the backbone of men's tennis. And we've been wondering, one of the youngsters going to come up, who is going to challenge them? Djokovic is still in the mix. You know, he's not human. And by winning the Olympics, I mean, that has to be the highlight of his life. But now we have Alcaraz and Sinner, and they're going to battle it out. And I think they're the new, you know, they're going to be the new rivalry in the next 10, 15 years. So it's great to see. It's nice to see that not one tennis player is bigger than the game, that if somebody like a Federer retires, somebody else is going to come along and catch everybody's fancy and play some tennis that's a level ahead. And this is what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, the game is in great hands, that's for sure. And, you know, we've been talking about when are we going to see the changing of the guard? Well, I think we've seen it. Of course, Novak saying not so fast because I'm still contending for these big tournaments, and I think he has a great chance to win his 5th U.S. Open. But when I think of Sinner and Alcaraz, it's my favorite matchup to watch now. They're both so explosive, dynamic, they're fast, they hit the ball so hard consistently, and they're still improving. You talk to both of them, and they're working on their serves.
Yeah.
They're working on you know, variety in their game, coming forward. So this is going to be the matchup that we're going to see for years to come. I can't wait because they both love the game, and they're superstars. They're unbelievable. So, you know, I think for me today, when the draw comes out, the big question is, where is Alcaraz going to land? Which half of the draw? Because he's now number 3 in the world.
That's the point I wanted to make. We talk about it's Alcaraz Sinner, but Djokovic is still holding on to that number 2 spot. Should Djokovic not win this U.S. Open, by the way, would be the first time a member of the big 3, Roger Rafa Djokovic, did not win a Grand Slam title in a calendar year since 2002.
And when he won this title last year, Chrissie, we said, okay, he's going to continue to win more of them, especially going into Australia where he's dominated for so many years. But this is a big goal of his now. He said the gold medal, number 1, and now he wants to get to number 25.
What a year he had last year, winning 3 slams and then winning the year-end ATP championships, winning another tournament in France. And then we were so surprised this year, up until the Olympics, he hadn't won anything. He hadn't won a tournament. And I tell you, there were a lot of doubters out there thinking, you know, this could be his last year. If he's not able to win a major, why would he want to keep playing? Then he wins the Olympics and surprises us all with a level higher than we've seen all year. And the big thing is now the 25th. You know, he's tied with Margaret Court, 24 majors. You don't think that he's going to get fired up for this one? He needs one more. And, you know, he's always reaching for his goals. And he always thinks nothing is impossible. And when he leaves the game, he's going to leave no stone unturned, Chris McKendry.
Chrissie, earlier this week, you went on record saying, should he win this title, he might call it. What exactly
No,
did
I said,
you say?
thank you for saying that, because I've been reading in the press that, you know, Chris Evert says he should retire. No, I said I wouldn't be surprised if he retired, you know, after, because looking at this whole year and not winning a tournament until the Olympics, you know, I don't know, you know, everything gets chipped away the longer you play, the more years you play. He's had injuries also that were surprising this year. It would not surprise me if he won this U.S. Open to call it a day, because then he's achieved all of his goals. And you know what? Time to spend time with the family.
I don't know, Chrissie. I think he wants to separate himself from Rafa, from Roger. I think he wants to crush the records
that he
already has. No, I think he wants to go even further. I think he wants to really be the undisputed best player of all time, no questions asked. And he still has things to play for. Besides the 25, he's trying to win the most titles of anyone. Jimmy Connor still holds that record. If he wins here, he wins 100 titles. And he would be the oldest player, by the way, if he won the U.S. Open to win a major title. So I still think there's enough to motivate him. I think it's the family, though, what you said.
Let's have a bet. Let's have a bet. We'll see.
Right.
If he plays a full year
The family, I think, is the big thing.
Yes, when we spoke with him yesterday, that's one thing I remember last year. He told me his daughter sat right across front row at the Open last year in that championship match. And he said every time in between matches, sit down, he could look up, he could see her. And she can't be here this year. He said, maybe the final week if I get that far, but school started. So he's separated now from the kids, and that has to be tough. So I'm sure there's a lot he's weighing, but when the draw comes out today, he's weighing one thing. Who's my first opponent?
Yeah, that's true. He takes one one day at a time. There's nobody that does that better.
Absolutely. The American men, it's been a long time since there have been 5 American men in the top 20. You have to go back to 1997. Francis Diapo, a fantastic run in Cincinnati to the final, got himself back in the top 20. Taylor Fritz leads the way. Ben Shelton right behind him. Tommy Paul and Sebastian Korda.
I mean, they've all been to semis of majors except Fritz, I believe, and Korda. Fritz and Paul won the bronze medal at the Olympics. How fresh are they going to be going into the U.S. Open? Korda's played great this summer. Shelton's played well this summer.
Yeah.
A lot of it's going to depend on the draw, like where they land, what are the seeds they come across. Do they have the dangerous floater like Berrettini in one of the opening rounds? But they all are starting to play well. I'm so happy for Francis that he had that great week in Cincinnati, reaching the finals, and starting to feel confident again.
I think having David Witt as his coach, I think has done wonders for his game, has given him the confidence that he needs. Ben Shelton, I think, has the highest ceiling. I'm not quite sure if he's there yet. He's still young. He still needs to get that consistency and that maybe better choice of shots, shot making. Tommy Paul's beaten all the top players. Taylor Fritz. I mean, they're definitely quarterfinalists. They're definitely second week U.S. Open players, but I'm not sure if one of them is ready to win this title this year.
MJ?
Again, I think it so depends on the draw. I mean, how fresh
Head-to-head,
are the top players, right?
Head-to-head,
Alcaraz, is he going to be frustrated like we saw him in Cincinnati? Sinner, how's he going to deal with everything that's going on around him? And Novak, right? So, yes, those 3, of course, are the lead favorites to go all the way, but I think one of them can sneak through. There's no question about it. We've seen them get to the semis, so now can they make that next step?